originally from West Tennessee, so parents divorced when I was 2. So I've always been kind of split when it comes to mom, dad, but fortunately I had wonderful bonus parents who played active roles in my life. I'm the middle child, so we don't get a lot of attention. No, I was the baby for 10 years, and then along came the little sister. So played sports, very active in high school, wasn't the cheerleader, was more of the tomboy type. Met my husband about 21 years ago. We engaged for a year and been married the past 20. We have 2 wonderful boys. One came to me in marriage. He's 23 now. He's in the Navy, nuclear engineer, extremely proud mom. My baby is 18 and gonna finish school in July. So we're loving the empty nester life. I worked in the corporate world for 16 years prior to owning my business. I quit my job almost 3 years ago to open my business. So being in the corporate world, being married to a husband who had a very demanding job as well, sometimes we literally crossed in the street, rolled down our windows, high-fived each other and said, "Tag, you're it," literally. I describe that and people don't believe me, but that was our life. I had 2 girls on an auto rotation to help take care of my boys. We sat down with a calendar at the beginning of the month to be sure we had all of our bases covered. Monday night was always pizza and root beer. You got soda on Monday night because, it's part of that mom guilt for not being at home. And every Friday night, my boys got ice cream for supper because, again, I worked long hours on Friday, and it was whatever I could do to distract them for not realizing that mom wasn't there. They always said, "Go make the toy money, Mom. We'll see you when you get home." So they didn't really differentiate. My mom is not a stay-at-home mom. It was they were excited that mom was going to work to make the toy money. My youngest will actually say, and he has said this to me, that you taught me work ethic, and I know how to go to work, do what I'm told, have a positive attitude, and quote unquote make it happen. I wanted to cry because here as a mom you have so much guilt, and I think it's jealousy in a sense too when all of your friends are staying home with their children and you see them at the park or you see them on their field trips, and then you're the working mom who is hustling trying to give your kids everything you didn't have growing up. But when I see it from their perspective and the level of respect that my boys have for me, it makes me very prideful. I am someone who has to really think about things and think about things a lot. So with my youngest son, Hunter, I gained 80 to 100 pounds, somewhere in between there. I had toxemia, so I was very sick. I worked out for the past 4 years consistently with a trainer in the gym, diet, exercise to get the weight off. So I really started thinking about it serious within the last 4 years, to answer your question. But any big decision I make, I go through stages. I'm going to think about it for probably a year or so. I'm going to socialize it for about a year or so. Once I start making appointments, then that's kind of the seriousness. Because I had lost a tremendous amount of weight. I was very proud of myself, but there were areas of my body that I was still extremely self-conscious of, even though my husband doesn't care one way or the other because it's not about the physical, it's about my heart. But for me, and this was totally for me, no one else, I wanted to change some things, and it really just was my breast in the beginning. I had large, sagging breast, as most moms do. Most women as they age. And in my job, it was really beginning to affect my back, my neck. And I have friends who had had reductions in lifts and told me how much of a difference it made just in their physical, not their appearance, but just how they felt. And that was more what I was going for. It never really was about, let me have perky boobs. It was, I really wanted to take the weight off of the upper part of my body. So I went to a couple of people to do consultations, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I ran across Dr. Burgdorf's name from another client of his who happens to be a friend, and he was the last consultation I went to. It was amazing. Not even him. Let's start when I walked through the door, Chris at the front desk. And to me, you're only as good as your team. And Chris sitting there greeting me just with her genuine smile and calling me by name, and, you know, even remembering Scott's name because I put his information as my emergency point of contact. So she assumed, obviously, this is Scott walking through the door. And to me, it's all about gaining that invite to invite somebody in to get to know you. And no matter what you're selling, it's all about overcoming a trust barrier. And that's what she did as soon as I walked through the door. She introduced me to his nurse, Haley, who, again, another very genuine, look you in the eye person who you just feel it. And when you know, you know. And then came Dr. Burgdorf, who was unlike any other doctor I've ever talked to before. He's just like you and me. And immediately it was a very relaxed conversation. So the first thing he did was, and he said, I really just want to get to know you. And I think that's when he, I guess doing it for so many years, kind of got in my head a little bit and figured out where the weight gain came from, what I'd done to lose it, the discipline I had, and kind of where I was, not just physically, but emotionally as a woman and as a mom. So we talked about my breast, and we're probably 40 minutes into the conversation before he says, what else do you not like about your body? And here he has a full-length mirror in his office, and you're standing in front of it. And I'm like, how much time do you have? I mean, I'm a woman, for crying out loud. So I told him the lower part of my stomach really bothered me. And I said, I do crunches. I do, you know, work out 5 days a week. I'm with a trainer. I have a disciplined diet. But this part just will not go away. So he immediately just kind of grabs hold and says, well, it's not going anywhere. It's skin. When people had said, if you just lose 20 pounds or you'll do whatever. And he said, do me a favor. And he laid out the chair in his office. And he said, I want you to do a crunch for me. And so when I did just a simple crunch on the table, his hand went through, I guess, my abdominal muscles. And I was uneducated because I hadn't researched anything but breast. And he described to me what happens to a lot of women during childbirth, how their muscles separate, and what he could do to pull that back together for me to give me more abdominal strength. And he even told me, I bet you have a tough time like doing a bicycle when you exercise and different things. I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, this is because of the muscle group that you're using. And once I pull that back together, it will essentially give you an internal corset. I have to go in by lifting the skin so I could take that excess skin off at the same time. So that intrigued me, and we talked a little further. So it was, I think, the depth of the explanation in relations to what was important to me. Fitness, getting in shape, why I can't perform at the level that I wanted to, why I had been working out for years and areas of my body just would not budge. And it was, you know, Kathryn, you're not doing anything wrong. It's, I mean, look at what you have accomplished, look at what your body did, and look at where you are now. And it's okay to get a little help. Scott was with me when they went over the totals for the procedure, and I said, no way. And at first with the tummy procedure, absolutely not. I will not do it. Dr. Burgdorf said, why? And I said, I don't want that scar from hip to hip. So he took time to explain to me, this is what I do. This is the healing process. Here is where it will be. It will be non-existent, you know, over time. It will be hidden by your bikini, you know, just the depth of explanation. And so then we get to the financials, and honestly, I would not have done it if it wasn't for the amazing husband I have, who just without a doubt, no hesitation whatsoever said, we're doing it today. We're paying the deposit today, because he knows me well enough that if I spend money on something because I'm tight, I'm going to do it. And if I would have walked out of there without paying my deposit, I probably wouldn't have gone back. So obviously the breasts were the biggest part of it that I walked in for. So we did the reduction, we did a lift, and we did implants. I was between a double D, a triple D, down to a nice little perky C. Very proud of that. And then we did the muscle repair and the tummy tuck. And at the same time, he stood me up and he said, I want to take just a little bit out of your flanks, the area. So, and he said, I want to give you a nice smooth curve in your back. So it's kind of comical. He went down my back and then he landed like at my bottom and he was like, because that's nice. Scott's like, I think so too. So he wanted to be sure that I didn't look like SpongeBob and I was boxed out. So he took a little bit. He asked, can we take a little bit out of the side? Yes. And he said, okay, what else bothers you while we're here? Let's just continue to talk. And at that point in time, I think it's important to know that he had gained my trust. So I didn't hesitate in saying, these thick thighs, I mean, this is a family curse. I work out, they just will not move. And he's like, well, let's see, we can take a little bit out of your thighs. I don't want to take too much because I want it to be proportionate to your body. And just explaining, I think, from point A to point Z, as you say here, this is what it's going to look like. Here's what the recovery will look like. And my thought process was, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all at one time. Because if I'm going to recover, I want to recover all at one time. And I was back to work in 12 days after having this done, which Dr. Burgdorf would probably kill me, but I was back to work in 12 days. Now that I've done it, people are like, you look great, you look amazing, what did you do? And I tell everyone, because as women, we try to hide what we do. And every woman needs that support. Because once you've had children or once you've had a tremendous weight gain and you've lost weight, sometimes things don't just snap back. And if there is a solution, it's like Botox. My face is full of it. I am not afraid to tell the world. I'm 43 years old. And my forehead looked like Interstate 65, 40, and 440 all interchanging. I use before and after pictures in my salon to promote that because it's amongst women, and I don't know why we're like this, but it's, oh, she does Botox or she does filler, or I bet she had a tummy tuck. She can't get results like that at a gym. Well, you can't. I mean, you can get results, but you're not going to get results like you want. And if there is a solution, why not do it? We were talking about just how chill I was the morning of surgery, and I couldn't believe it. I was not nervous. When Dr. Burgdorf came in, and I'm just getting to know him at this point in time, he comes in before you go into the operating room, and he begins to draw on me, and I remember specifically saying to him, just please make me beautiful. And he looked at me, and he said, he stopped what he was doing, and he said, Kathryn, you are already beautiful. I'm just going to enhance what you have. And it's just little things like that that just mean so much to you because you can tell it's coming from the heart. And he said, you are a beautiful person. I'm just enhancing what you have. So he drew all the parts on me, and he said, you want some entry music when we come into the operating room? I mean, you're going to be a rock star. And he had that one-on-one engagement with me to make me feel comfortable, and I'm assuming that was his intent, versus having a nurse or a hospital employee do that. And I think it's that personal approach that just makes you feel so good. Like, this guy is going to take care of me. And my procedure was very long, but he checked in with my person the whole time. Scott left. I had someone else come there with me. Scott doesn't do good with recovery. He gets very lightheaded sometimes. So I had my best friend on standby, and she said they checked in like every hour on the hour. She's doing great, and just walking them through the process. So I wake up, and my friend who's there with me, she's like, "Woo, honey, those boobies are sitting on your shoulder. Look at you, girl." Just giving me some positive, because she knew that was my thing, was I just wanted to feel like I did as a teenager. All women want that. And the pain level was like minimal. I was extremely lightheaded, and it took me a while just because I was under anesthesia for a very long time. I had surgery on a Friday, so I had a friend stay with me through, she went home Sunday night. Scott went back to work on Monday. I was by myself on Monday. I slept in a recliner because with the tummy and with my breast, it was, hard to get comfortable in a bed or laying flat. But I got up, I walked. The more you walk, the better you feel. So I was in my recliner all day, every day from Saturday and Sunday. But then Monday, I was on my couch. I got up, I cooked for myself. I bounced back very quick, and a tummy tuck is a piece of cake. The muscle repair, yeah, you're walking humped over for a little while. As a woman, we are very self-conscious about how we look, even though I'm clothed in front of everyone but my husband. And he loves me no matter if I'm, 350 pounds or where I am today. He doesn't care. I was very unhappy with who I was as a person, and I knew that this was one of the biggest things that held me back. So by doing this, I am a much more confident person, not just in physical appearance, because although that's nice, that's not what it's about. It made me a mentally stronger person to the level of I am worthy, I am deserving. I am a good freaking human being, and no one can take that from me. Because before, see, here we go, you got it. When you are unhappy with who you are from a physical standpoint, especially as a woman, you can't put your shoulders back and reassure the world that is who you are. And I face a lot of challenges on a daily basis from being a successful woman. A lot of women don't uplift and motivate each other. A lot of women are very intimidated by success or intimidated by just a good person. If other people, see you as that, instead of just trying to get into your circle, they want to force you out because people like you and want to be around your energy. But now, I don't care. I have the heart, the body to match my heart, let me say that. And my mental game is 10 times stronger than it used to be because of the confidence that I've received. I would pay double to be where I am right now. I would. Not just physically. It has nothing, maybe a little bit to do with the physical side of it, but it's emotionally what it has done for me. I'm a brand new person because my confidence went from maybe a 4 to a 10. It's amazing what it has done, and that is worth every single penny we spent. Last but certainly not least is having a good relationship with your doctor. Dr. Burgdorf invited me for additional questions if I needed to talk to him prior to surgery. And what does the follow-up look like for him to you afterwards? That was it was very impressive, and I think it's unheard of for a physician. He followed me for 1 solid year after surgery. And I had, a couple of things that I was not 100% satisfied with because no body is perfect and no person is perfect. But when I addressed those concerns, it was an immediate come into the office and let's fix it. And it's not an insult where some people with big egos may be insulted that, oh no, I'm perfect and I've got all this to back it up. It was, wow, why did that happen? Let's make it right. Even just small details, because he encouraged me to communicate that to him, which made me feel like my investment was important. It wasn't just a dollar sign coming through the door. It's him, who he is as a person. I don't think it has anything to do with medical school, his ability, as a surgeon, or all the accolades that he has. I think it truly boils down to how he was raised, what was instilled in him growing up to respect people, to get to know people, to value people, to just to build that trust and build those relationships and just be a decent human being. And that's what I think a lot is missing out of the world today, is just be a good person. Yeah. And he is. He's more than just a phenomenal surgeon. He is just an amazing human being.